Hacking is the most important skill set of the 21st century. I don't make that statement lightly. Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Given the current state of affairs and events in the computer world, you have to believe it that hacking is an elite profession within the IT field. As such, it requires an extensive and detailed understanding of IT concepts and technology. At the most fundamental level, Linux is a requirement. I strongly suggest you invest time and energy into using and understanding it if you want to make hacking and information security your career. Because many hackers have little or no experience with Linux, and this lack of experience is the primary barrier to their starting the journey to becoming professional hacker. But don't worry, this series will help you to get over this barrier. First, let's cover the important basics about Linux and its hidden features and secrets. Whether you are new to the concepts or looking to understand it more thoroughly, by the end of this video, you will have a solid grasp of what Linux is all about. Let's get started. So, what is Linux? Linux is an operating system just like Windows or macOS. It controls your computer's hardware and software. But what makes Linux unique is that it's built from the ground up by a community of developers and released under open source license. What does that mean? It means that the source code of the operating system is available. Anyone can view, modify, and distribute the source code. So, here I must maintain Linux kernel to describe its concepts with history and some examples that you must know. The core of a Linux, or you can say the heart of the Linux, is the Linux kernel, created by Linus Torvalds in 1991 as a Unix-like alternative for personal computers. Over time, it has grown to become a key player in the world of servers, desktops, embedded systems, smartphones like Android, and more. It acts as a bridge between the software and hardware. Without it, your programs would not be able to interact with the hardware in any meaningful way. So, the kernel is also responsible for managing system resources like the process scheduling of CPU, memory management, and device controls. And it's constantly being updated to support new hardware and improve performance. But the kernel alone doesn't make an operating system. For Linux to be usable, we need other components like libraries, user interfaces, and utilities. That's where different Linux distribution, or you can say distro, comes into play. So, each distro of Linux has its own set of features, package management systems, and user interfaces. There are literally hundreds of Linux distros, each tailored for different needs. For personal computers, for servers, for specialized systems like Android. Some of the most popular Linux distros are Ubuntu, Fedora, Debian, and Arch Linux. Ubuntu. Ubuntu, great for beginners. It's user friendly and comes with a wide range of software pre-installed. Second, Fedora. Fedora known for having the latest feature and cutting-edge software. Third, Debian. Debian is a rock-solid, stable distro that's perfect for servers. Arch Linux. Arch Linux for the more advanced user who prefer to customize everything themselves. This history must be known in details before doing practical work because you can't become an expert hacker until you have a grip on the basics. So let's review what we have heard and understood so far and then move on to the next topics. So first, we understood that if you want to make hacking and information security your career, at the fundamental level, Linux is a requirement. So, Linux is nothing but an operating system like Windows or Mac OS. The heart of Linux is Linux kernel, created by Linus Torvald in 1991. It acts as a bridge between the software and hardware and responsible for managing system resources. But for Linux to be usable, we need other components with Linux kernel like libraries, user interfaces, and utilities. That's where different Linux distros come to play. Some of the most popular Linux distros are Ubuntu, Fedora, Debian, and Arch Linux. Now we move on to the next topic. So, why should we use Linux instead of someone operating system like Windows or Mac OS? Well, Linux has a lot of advantages. First, Linux is an open source operating system. It means that the source code of the Linux operating system is freely available to the public. Anyone can view, modify, and distribute the source code under the terms of its open source license, typically the GNU GPL license. This allows developers to customize Linux, improve its functionalities, and share their modifications with others. Open source promotes collaboration and community-driven development, making Linux flexible and adaptable to a wide range of use cases, from personal computers to server and embedded systems. Not so with Windows. Microsoft tries hard to make it as difficult as possible to know the inner working of its operating system, so you never really know what's going on under the hood. Whereas in Linux, you have a spotlight shining directly on each and every component of the operating system. This makes working with Linux more effective. Second, Linux is widely regarded as a secure operating system, and its security features are one of the main reasons it's used in environments that require high levels of security, such as servers, critical infrastructures, and even cybersecurity research. In the few next days, I will make a separate details video on the security of Linux, in which I will give you a step-by-step detailed theoretical and practical guide, so you can get a next level grip, because such topics are not discussed even in large organizations and hacker communities. But here, it is very important to explain some basic fundamental steps. So, the Linux is designed with a strong focus on user privileges and permissions. It employs a robust permission model that limits user access to file and system resources based on user roles. In the next video, I will discuss about it with deeply explanation. So, Linux supports various secure authentication mechanisms like password-based, key-based, multi-factors, and biometric authentications. Public key cryptography is widely used for securing remote connections like SSH. And Linux also includes built-in tools like IP tables or firewall D for configuring a network firewall to block unauthorized access. Linux have many built-in security tools like AppArmor and Audit Framework for security purposes. In the next video, I will discuss about these tools with deeply explanation. So, you know that Linux was built for security purposes. So, Linux distributions have customized package management systems like apt, yum, and DNF, which ensure that software is installed from trusted repository. This is reduce the risk of installing malicious software. There are Linux distributions designed specifically for security purposes, such as Kali Linux for penetration testing, Tails for anonymous browsing, and Corpse OS, which isolate applications in virtual machines to reduce risk. So, the Linux kernel is constantly updated to fix bugs, enhance security features, and harden the system against exploits. Kernel-based security mechanisms like control groups, cgroups, namespaces, and seccons provides additional layers of defense. So in the next video, I will discuss about security of Linux in a deeply explanation. So let's move on to the next topic. So Linux is famous for being incredibly stable and reliable. Many of the world's most critical infrastructures like web servers, data centers, and even some supercomputers run on Linux. Because Linux is a lightweight and can run on older hardware without much trouble. Whether you are using a high-powered server or an old laptop, Linux can be optimized to perform effectively. So, you understood that Linux is everywhere in the tech world. In fact, if you are watching this on the internet, chances you are using Linux right now. The majority of web servers, including those that host YouTube, run on Linux. Many mobile phones, like those running Android, are also based on Linux. Plus, it's widely used in scientific research, cloud computing, and even robotics. More and more companies are adopting Linux not just for their servers but also as a desktop operating system. Whether it's for developers, for system administrators, or even regular users, Linux offers an environment that's both powerful and flexible looking ahead. Linux is only going to grow. With the rise of cloud computing, AI, and edge devices, Linux is set to play an even more significant role. The open source community is constantly evolving, contributing to a future where Linux powers everything from personal devices to critical infrastructures. And with major companies like Google, IBM, and Microsoft contributing to Linux development, the future looks incredibly bright for this operating system. So that's a wrap on our deep dive into Linux. Whether you are thinking about switching to Linux or just curious about what makes it tick, I hope this video helped you to understand it a bit better. If you have any question or thoughts, drop them in the comment below. Thanks for watching and I will see you in the next video.